Okay, today we're making something yummy. This is apple cobbler pound cake. It's really good and you gotta stick till the end to see the vanilla glaze we're gonna make. You're gonna like this one. So, let's get to it. Ingredients, we need 3 cups of flour. Cake flour, actually. But don't you worry, I'm going to walk you through actually making it. Don't go buy special. We're going to use some apple pie filling, a good can's worth, some sugar, brown sugar, some softened cream cheese, and 3 sticks of butter, 3/4 of a pound softened butter. And eggs. We're going to use 5 eggs for this recipe. And we need some graham crackers. Now, I was going to just get a box of graham crackers and chop them up in the food processor. All they had was the crumbs, so that'll work just fine. We're going to need some baking soda, a little bit of salt, a little bit of cornstarch, some cinnamon, and of course, vanilla extract. Oh, and for the icing, we're going to need some icing sugar. We'll get to that at the end, like I said. So let's get cracking and make our cake flour. This is real easy. Instead of just buying it yourself, which costs more, just get some regular flour. And we have 3 cups of flour. So for every cup of flour, you're going to take out 2 tablespoons of that flour. So in this case, we're taking 6 tablespoons out, roughly. Now in its place, that's where the cornstarch comes in. 6 tablespoons of cornstarch. They were a little heaping, so I only put in 5. And then you just mix it all together. And there's your cake flour. Pretty easy, I think. Why buy different kinds of flour when you can just make it yourself? Alright, now in a bowl, we're combining some brown sugar and our graham cracker. Now, that's probably about maybe 1/3 to 1/2 cup of graham crackers. Mix that all around. And we also have to add some sugar and some cinnamon. This is going to give us our cinnamon dust. Rather than buying it at the store, which I don't even know that I can find it, it's equal parts sugar and cinnamon. Just mix all that together. Put that aside. Alright, here's our pan. Grease her all up, which I always forget to do. Well, I don't always, but a lot of times I do. We don't want it to stick at the bottom too much, and actually it still did stick a little bit. That's okay. It still worked out. I guess I could have floured up the bottom too. So the graham cracker, cinnamon dust, brown sugar mix goes in the bottom. And we're just going to spread it around nice and even. There's our layer. Easy peasy. Next up comes our can of apples. Now, if you really feel daring, you could just make them yourself. I have done it, but this is so much more convenient. And there's not a ton of taste difference. So you want those all spread out in the bottom of the pan, nice and even. As even as you can. Yummy. We're halfway done. Now over to our stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can use your hand mixer. It just might take a little longer. So I put my whisk on only to find out that, yeah, I probably should have put the stuff in first. So here's our cream cheese, 8 ounces of cream cheese. Room temperature, of course, because you want to be able to mix it. And this is going to take a minute or two because not only is it room temperature, but now it's going to stick to the wrapper. Okay, I think we got everything. Next comes our butter. Softened, of course. So this is 3 sticks of butter, 3/4 of a pound. In they go to the bowl. Now we can put our whisk on, drop her down, and let's whisk all that together. Doesn't take long, but of course it all gets stuck in the whisk, so I had to kind of scoop it all out. We got it. Vanilla. 1, 2. Now the real recipe had 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, which I don't have, and 1 teaspoon of butter extract, which I'd never heard of. So near as I can figure out, butter extract is like an extract of butter. So I just melted up a teaspoon of butter. Mix all that together, mix, mix, mix. Now we're putting our sugar in. There's 3 cups of sugar going in here, quite a bit. 1 cup at a time, let it combine. 1 cup at a time, let it combine. And that's the end of our sugar. Let it all combine. Now our eggs. These go in 1 at a time. Crack it open, let it mix thoroughly. Carefully crack the next one, because if you're not careful, it's just going to make a mess. Third egg, ever so carefully. Fourth. And I see I could probably have scraped the bottom at this point, but let me get everything done first. And here's our last egg. In she goes. And our batter is almost complete. Now the fun part. We have to add half a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking soda into our flour. Mix it all up. Into our mixer she goes, a cup at a time. Well, we get 1 cup going, mix, mix, mix. Throw the next one in, mix, mix. The third one in. There you go. Now we just got to spoon it into our pan. Spoon, 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 mix, mix, mix. Look at that, nice and neat. And this is going to go in the oven now. Look at how much I have. I got enough to make another apple cobbler pound cake. And this will be plenty. So into the oven it goes, 315 degrees. Strange temperature. It's going to cook for 1.5 hours. I bagged up the extra batter, and that's going in the freezer till I want to make this again. And let's get our cake out of the oven. 1.5 hours has passed. It looks pretty good, well baked. I threw a toothpick in just to check it out. So now let's make our glaze while it's cooling. That's 2 cups of icing sugar. I put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You can put a teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of butter, that melted butter, that would work. Mix it all up until you get your glaze. It was a little thick, so I had to add just maybe a teaspoon of water. Baking sheet with some parchment paper on it because our cake's cooled off enough. I can try and get it out of the pan ever so carefully. It's a good thing I greased it. My God. Oh, out it comes. Now, it is cooked, so I had to scrape the bottom for the stuff that came off. Put the drizzle on. Like this. Oh, this is fun. But you get the idea. Once you're done, look at that. Doesn't that look good? It most certainly does. And the only thing left now is to get a plate and serve it. So there you go. Apple cobbler pound cake. Yummy. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.